In our last golf school, one of our attendees told us he had really spent a lot of time in the last couple of months adding more rotation to his swing. He also told us his handicap has started to go up since doing that. There's a reason why adding rotation to your swing can make your swing worse. I want to show you today what needs to happen to offset or complementing more rotation. 3 of the most common swing issues we see with golfers is 1, not having any slack in transition. 2 is having an open club face. And 3 is leaving the arms up, not allowing the arms to work properly. If you have 1, 2, or all 3 of those, more rotation will make your swing worse. So let's talk about those individually. The first one is no slack in the backswing. What are we talking about when we need slack?
Yeah, so basically at address, let's call it your 0-0 shoulder and hips. If you're looking at above and there was a line through my shoulders and a line through my hips, those are
rotationally.
Yeah, rotationally, yeah. Just to show where they are if you're looking from above. So at the top, I'm going to have about 45 degrees of difference between them.
Right.
Okay, so hips 45, shoulders 90. What you need to make sure of is that at the top of the swing, you still have a little motion left where you could, before the club changes direction, there's a little bit of slack where I can start the downswing sequence with the lower body. So if I was maxed out and I started that downswing sequence, you see how that spins my shoulders. So having that little bit of, where I can have a little slack in there to do this, allows the pelvis to start, and then it pulls on the shoulders a little later, which buys me that little bit of time for this club to kind of pitch back in the slot.
Now, this is what the golfer in the school is doing. He had no slack. We're able to recognize it pretty quickly now just because we've done it for so long, but we were asking him to talk to us while he was hitting. And it was like, well, yeah, I went to lunch the other day, and
yeah.
like you can almost take your breath away because you're maxing out that differential. And it's like pulling a rubber band to its max and then letting it go and everything's going to snap. So his idea of more rotation, and then more rotation in the downswing was just, there was no room to let that slack kind of slot the club, and everything just shot straight out. And he was shooting higher scores because of it.
The other slack that you need is the slack between the lead arm and the torso. So if you've pinned that early, it's the same thing. Then as soon as the torso starts going, the arm goes. So you want that little bit of slack so that as this club is finishing the backswing, the pelvis starts its downswing, the torso gets pulled, and then finally the lead arm gets a little bit closer to the chest. That's that last slack that you need in order to rotate where you can get the body open and not have the club pitching up over the plane too much.
One of the most difficult concepts to grasp in the swing is almost the entire swing, you are going to have parts of the body doing opposite motions. You don't want everything doing backswing motions and everything doing downswing motions, but you've got to have that built-in slack to be able to do opposing movements. So that's number 1. Make sure you have slack if you're trying to add more rotation. If not, you're going to play worse. Number 2 is an open club face, and this is a big deal for a lot of golfers.
You can check this on your own. This is 2 easy checkpoints to take a look at. When you get to the top of your swing, with this club, let's just say it's in a good spot here, up somewhere above my hands or behind my hands, whatever, however long your backswing is. You want to see the face of that club on the top side of the shaft. That's the first thing you want to look for. You don't want it pointing to the sky, and you definitely don't want to see the head of that club and the mass of that club behind the shaft. So that would be indicator number 1. Now, you can still mess it up from there.
Oh yeah.
So let's just say you made a good sequence and the club's coming down. When it's on your back line, if it's laid back too much, that can be an issue. That puts it in a position where it gets into the last checkpoint here. We call it checkpoint 6 in our swing system. The face is too much to the sky. And if you rotate on that club face,
well, you see what you're lagging to the
you're
ball
lagging
now.
the hosel. We have other videos where you want to feel like you're lagging the sweet spot.
Right.
But if you're lagging the hosel, which is what you're doing there, and you pull on that, you've got a lot of work to do very late in the swing. I'm not saying you can't play like that, but that player to me, the guy came in saying, I'm only shanking it when I come on your hitting mats. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. These hitting mats, the real feel.
They're not magic.
This is, yeah, it is what it is. And that was it. He was lagging the hosel all the way to the ball. So I put my finger on his club here and said, hey, try to drag that more to the ball. And he realized right away that, oh, I see now. That's a totally different feeling for getting the club to the ball. So if you look at your swing and check it with an app or the swing coach app even, you can start to slow it down and see where that is in space. You don't want it pointing too much to the ground. You don't want it to the sky. Straight up and down, pretty much in the middle, which is a good place to be.
That's a great Brian Manzella little trick that we've borrowed from him for years, and I'll demonstrate that because I want to make sure everyone understands what you were just
So I'll
talking about.
go,
So I'm to the top. So
Yep.
Sean's going to get back here behind me and put his finger. So now I can feel the sweet spot of the club. Most of you are starting down like this,
Slips
where it
off.
just slides right off. I've got to be able to rotate the club to where I'm hooking his finger and taking his finger to the ball rather than just sliding right off of it.
it's a beginner trade is to pull the hosel because it feels like you're pulling a baseball bat.
Right.
And the baseball bat doesn't have the mass of the club head offset from the shaft. So that's a powerful feeling. Well, the name of the game in golf is managing that sweet spot. So that's what Mike is saying there. You pull the sweet spot to the ball. Now, when you're doing that, you can pivot because you can have the handle a little bit more in front because your right hip's coming around, and you can have your body open, and adding rotation at that point would potentially help.
TPI said for years, rotation is a face opener.
Yeah.
So if your face is already open and I try to rotate more, now I'm taking an issue and making it compounded as a bigger issue, and that's not going to go well for your shots. And then the last thing is the idea of just leaving the arms up and turning.
Yeah, so this is a good one. And
This kind of ties both of those together.
And this is where we can use the Swing Coach app in a minute to show you. It's the hand path that corresponds to that, right? So if I go up to the top and make a kind of an orthodox backswing, and I pivot my body and I don't do anything with my arms, I just kept them up because there was a trend years ago that said leave your arms up, leave your arms up. I mean, that may have helped the guy that was doing this, right? I mean, I'll never say it doesn't help. But if you're spinning and leaving your arms up, the hand path, the track that the hand path takes is so out. Now you've got to have a lot of side bend and the club dropping kind of vertically in this plane just to make contact. It's just not a great way to do it. Or you're going to start pivoting, and what most golfers do is just crash over the top.
So we've done this for years in lessons. For golfers who've done that, thankfully, I think we haven't done it in a while. I think a lot of you got to play a lot of golf during the lockdown, and a lot of these swing ideas got reps behind them, and everyone started to realize how bad some of these ideas are. Let's have you go to the top. So I'm going to grab Sean's shoulders, and we'll do this a lot in lessons and say, all right, let me see you get to the ball. And if he can't use his shoulders, he literally locks up. Now, you know what to do with your arms. That's it.
That's the swing right there. And even that crossover, because if you did that over here,
right,
that's a perfect looking little exit. So some of these concepts will go a long ways to helping you.
So if I'm this way and trying to add more rotation, you can see where that's taking my hand. So you got to have that offset for the rotation to actually plane the club. So again, we're going to do the Swing Coach app to do that. So let me get it set up,
okay,
come back and show you a great drill to use to do all three of these, and you can add more rotation. We've got the Swing Coach app running. I've got the screen recording, so Sean's not going to be able to hear the feedback very well. I'm going to get him set up, and what we've got him set on is hand path halfway down. Now, Sean's goal is to get the hips re-squared again as early as he can while having a good hand path. If you don't have what we just talked about in order, the hands are going to shoot out, and this earlier rotation, which I think a lot of you would benefit from thinking earlier rotation than more rotation.
Ah, very good point.
Okay, so that's going to throw the hands out. So we've got to have that slack built in, got to have a club face in a good spot. We've got to be able to get the arms down to achieve all this.
Okay.
Okay, so let me get you set up. Where you want to stand?
Right here is right through my hands, so it'll tell you if you're not in the right spot.
Swing when ready.
This is pretty good. If I
Okay.
get my takeaway there, it looks about right.
Let me get my big hand out of the way.
Ready?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to do the bad first.
Okay. Which
So-
one are we doing?
I'm going to do leaving the arms up
Okay.
and carrying too much.
Okay, you're going to see
Hands
a
at
very
half down,
drastic
steep
version
by
of that.
2.
Hands steep halfway down, no surprise there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to add some slack to this as the body's starting to unwind.
So yeah, so my feel is that I could actually have a little bit of slack where I can unwind and the arms will sink a little and be in a good spot with my hand path. All right, is it ready?
Yep.
Hands at half down, shallow
Okay, we actually
by
had
1.
hand path shallow by 1.
And I felt that.
Now this is a good way to practice where you go steep, 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 steep. Try to do a little bit, like instead of just trying to get it right, try to move past it a little bit. A lot of you are going to have to do that just to move it at all.
Right.
So
All right, try one more feeling. I felt both sides of the coin here.
Good swing.
all right, we got the good swing, got the green signal.
All right, that's a great practice session.
The great thing about using a tool like the Swing Coach app is that you can have your mind somewhere else and get feedback on something as kind of a pass fail. So you don't have to try to think of it. It's something we hear all the time. Well, I can't think about 5 things in downswing. Nobody can. You want to have one swing cue and then you're monitoring what that kind of downstream effect has on the rest of your swing. If you set up the app correctly, pick the correct parameters to practice on, you can knock out 2 or 3 things at once as you work on your swing. It's the best tool that we've ever used. It's a free 2-week trial. Give it a try if you haven't used it yet. Soon to be available on Android. Right now on iPhone, give it a try. I think you're really going to like it, and your swing's really going to like it.